anything or have any questions, feel free to ask Allie if you can't find me crutching my way around the studio. But other than that, let's get started in child's pose. Let's get moving and sweating and getting rid of whatever you need to leave behind. All that stuff from the week, so you can go into the weekend ready to go. So take a deep breath in through your nose, fill yourself all the way up, and exhale it out. Another deep breath in, fill yourself up. Big exhale out. Yeah, it could be a sigh if it needs to be. One more breath. Big exhale. And start to build your Ujjayi breath. Long inhale with a pause at the top. A long exhale with a pause at the bottom. Just really intentional and on purpose right from the beginning of practice. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Move your body around any way that you feel is the right way to move it right now. Shake things out, bend and straighten. Keep building the breath, one moment at a time. And walk your feet up to your hands, hang in ragdoll. You do what you'd like with your arms and your hands, and then pull the pit of your belly way in and up toward the ceiling. So you can actually feel a stretch across the low part of your back, maybe even the middle of your back. Press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to heart center. Set your intention for your practice. Pick one specific thing that you want to focus on. And we'll send out those intentions with 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. High to low push-up, step back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Yeah, 2 more. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Exhale completely. Look forward and move. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. A long inhale. All the way up to your fingertips. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Keep the breath going. It's already getting strong. Inhale up. Exhale down. Big breath in. Clear it out. Good. Breathe in. Full exhale. Last one. Push all the air out. Get empty. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Extended mountain. Rise up. Look up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Just 1 breath per movement. Steady and smooth. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Breathe in. Empty. Last one. Clear it all the way. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Extended mountain, rise up and go back on this one. Stretch, forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push-up. Get each fingertip down into the mat. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breath in. Breath out. Fill up. And empty. Last one. Empty to the pit of your belly. Jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Bow down. Last sun salutation A. Rise up to standing. Reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Keep building that breath. Pose by pose. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breath in. Clear it out. Breathe in. Exhale, press your chest to your thighs. Good. One more breath. Push all the air back out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose for one breath. Reach. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right side warrior one. Take a full inhale all the way up to your fingertips. Chaturanga on your exhale. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Step through. Rise up. Gaze up. Low push up. Inhale up. Exhale down. Full breath. Push the air back out. Yeah, let it build heat from the inside out. Breath in. Empty. Last one. Clear all the air out. Step or jump. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Sit deep. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Land right at 90 degrees and stick it. Yes, Kelly. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Plug your big toe mound straight into the floor. Low push up. Got a lot of deep lunges already. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior one. Press, lift, look. Chaturanga. Hands to the mat. Upward facing. Downward facing. Full breath in together. Clear it out. Breath in. Thumbs down on your exhale. Connect. Yes, Mark. One more. Get all the air back out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. Sit back and lift your toes. Fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right side warrior. Step through. Lift your chest up to the ceiling. Nice, Lauren. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Step. Press. Gaze right on one spot. Low push up. Up dog. Down dog. Full breath. And clear it out. Breath in. Exhale. Last one. Push all the air back out. Move forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. Deepest one yet. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Make the breath even more prominent on purpose. Inhale up. Exhale down. Right side warrior. Step through and empty. Rise up on your inhale. Chaturanga on the exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Left side. Step. Inhale up, up, up as you reach. Chaturanga. Breathe out. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Let it go. Yeah, the heat's starting to build. In and out. Last one. Clear it completely. Feet to hands. One more sun bee. You got it. Halfway lift. Fold. Pose. Fold. Chaturanga. There's the breath. That's the rhythm I'm talking about. Up facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior. Step through. Knee right on top of your front ankle. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior. Step, plug in, and reach. Low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Oh, yeah, there's an energy kind of percolating in the air right now. Send your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. You can stay here in three-legged or flip your dog. Go all the way over. Full connection, big full breath across the front of your chest, between your shoulder blades, so everything can open up and expand. So wheel poses there, go for it. Maybe cactus arm to squeeze those shoulder blades together on your back. Nice, Madison. Flip back over, side plank. Left hand up to the sky, right hand into the mat. Steady breath. Bring that back in. Even though this takes a lot of work in the side plank and you can make it as tricky as you need it to be, breath the whole way. One more inhale. Reach up to the ceiling. High to low push-up. Upward. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or flip dog. Feet connected to the floor, heart wide open, and then create the pose. You're going to make as much expansive space in your body as possible here. With feet on 12, fingertips connected to the mat. Beautiful. Flip back over, side plank. And then if the breath got quiet, be the one that restarts it. Yeah, even if you're practicing at home, breath loud enough that that sound of your breath, the energy of the breath is flowing off the mat and into the space. One more inhale, reach up, 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 low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. A full breath out. Right side crescent lunge. So if you're looking for that breath reset, do it while you're setting up the foundation of crescent. And get all of the toes on your back foot straight down into the mat. If it feels like you can't come super deep into the lunge, take a longer stance front to back. Yeah, and then you can come deeper into it, knee on top of your ankle. Now, stay low in your legs. Lift your chest up to the ceiling higher. Take your gaze straight up to the ceiling, right to one spot. So if that starts to make the balance wobbly, great. Just keep the eyes on one spot. Sink lower into your legs and feet. Yes. Good. Feet connected, hands to heart. Wrap it in. Twist right. You can keep your palms together. Open your arms. Steady, rhythmic breath. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warrior 2. Swing up and around and face the opposite way. Deep into warrior 2 legs. Knee stacked right on top of your ankle. And then even if that's not sustainable the whole way through, at least try it on for a breath or two and then dial it down if you need to. Extended side angle. Elbow to thigh or fingertips by your front arch. You've got a couple of breaths here to create the fullest expression of this pose. So that could be a half bind with your top arm around your back. Could be both arms reaching in front of you past the front edge of your mat. Yes. Eyes set to one spot. You got it. All the different things happening in the room and on the screen. One more breath. Chaturanga. Woo. Hello, right hip. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side crescent lunge. Then you reset the breath. As soon as you've got your feet connected, the breath to help build the rest of the pose. Low in the lunging leg. Might seem counterintuitive, but it's actually easier to balance when the lunge is deeper than when you're higher up away from the mat. Now, with the legs nice and deep, heart up to the ceiling. Feet still connected, gaze up to the ceiling. Yeah, just stick it right on one point. And if you feel wobbly, come lower into the legs and feet. You got it. Hands to heart center, pull it in, twist left. Arms together, arms apart. Steady, rhythmic breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warrior 2. Some of you have already got sweat in your eyes, and that's really impressive this early in class. I like that. Come deep into your warrior 2 legs. Soften the toes on your front foot. Yeah, so you can sink the heel of your front foot down instead. Extended side angle. Create the pose. Take the variation, set your gaze, and know that the whole thing is a practice. So even if you've been practicing only a few times at this point, or hundreds, maybe even thousands of times at this point, just right now is what matters. One more breath. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Sigh it out. Yeah, even more noise than that. Breathe in and out. There it is. One more. Get clear. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and breathe. Let your breath be what gets the most attention while you're here in your chair pose. Lift and spread your toes off of the mat. Yeah, see if you can keep them up the entire time and into the twist. Hands to heart center. Twist right. Toes stay light and lifted. You can open your arms and have that bottom arm on the outside of your knee or in between your knees. Your choice. You'll take 3 breaths together here. In. Empty out. Pit of the belly in and up. Nice. Breath in. Breath out. Last one. Stay for the whole exhale. Twist, twist, twist. Back to chair. Fold. Woo. First 2 fingers around your big toes. Building that heat. Tailbone up to the sky. Take your gaze to the back edge of your mat. Yeah, some of you are already doing that, but if you want to shake out your head, yes and no, let your neck stretch out. Doing the work, getting things done. Release your hands, heel toe your feet back together, chair pose. Down and back into it, and then breath, most prominent piece you work on. Strong and powerful breathing. Hands to heart twist left. Gives your brain less opportunity to make the pose harder by overthinking. Open your arms. Toes light and lifted. You got this. Breathe in. Exhale. 2 more. In and out. Last one. Stay for the whole exhale and twist. Chair pose. Fold. Gorilla. Step on your palms. Toes all the way up to your wrists. Get as close to the wrist as possible so you can really stretch out the tops of your hands. After all those chaturangas, your wrists definitely need a little bit of this to reverse it. Release the hands. Take crow pose from the head of your mat. Any variation of crow you'd like to take. If you're working on jumping back, great, go for it. You're working on getting upside down, cool, go for it. If you're working on traditional crow, set your gaze right in front of your fingertips so that you shift forward instead of straight down. Yeah, you got it, Amy. Look further forward and lean in. Beautiful. Nice work. One more breath. Step or jump, low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take 1 breath in together. Clearing breath out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Rise all the way up standing. Eagle pose right side. Right arm under, right leg over. Steady breath the whole way through the equanimity piece, all of the balancing poses. Find the space in the eagle that feels pretty comfortable, like you could hang out here for a while, then sit 2 inches lower than that. Straight down, like your tailbone's a plumb line. You're just bringing it closer towards the floor. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. Now give the breath a little more room. You're warmed up, things are sweaty, things are more pliable. Longer inhales and longer exhales. Right side eagle, second set. Know that you've always got that option to exhale through your mouth if you need to hit the reset button, and then back to the 4-part breath. No big deal. All 4 corners of that standing foot straight down into the mat. Switch sides. Longer inhales, longer exhales. Sometimes putting extra attention on the breath takes out some of the overworking and overthinking of the pose. So your body can just be in the shape and you can pay attention to what's happening in the moment. Right side standing leg raise. Grab a hold of your right raised knee or your right extended foot. If you're working on grabbing that foot, you can put a towel or a strap around your foot, or if your foot is very sweaty like mine at this point in practice, use the towel. Stand up nice and tall. Flex your lifted ankle. Start breathing here. Because you know you'll open your leg to the side in a second. Start the breathing here so the breath follows you when you open the pose. Open the leg to the right, reach and look left. Let your body restabilize the balance. And if you need to step out and reset, just do that. Come back to center, slow and controlled. Airplane, press your foot straight back. Powerful breath here in airplane. That's what will create the lightness you need to stretch out and fully express the pose. Half moon, left hand down, right arm up to the ceiling. Whether you've got your bottom hand on the block, the floor, a water bottle, start to work your way into lightness on whatever it's touching. And you can do that by pulling the pit of your belly in and up and hugging your front ribs in towards center. Nice. Yeah, even if you need to keep touching it, that's cool. You're playing around with it. You've got one more breath here. Reach, feet to the mat. Standing leg raise, left side. Grab the knee or the foot. Hang out here in center, especially if this is one of your not so favorite poses. For a long time, I'm like, yep, I'm just going to open my leg because that one's easier for me to do. Stay in the center. See if you can get your inner thigh muscles to squeeze in towards center line instead of using the whole outside of your leg to hold the leg forward. Open left. Reach and look right. Eyes right on one spot and breathe. Come back to center. Airplane. Press a ton through your lifted foot with the full intention to touch whatever is behind you, the wall, a piece of furniture, another yogi, who knows? You make that connection with the sole of your lifted foot. Keep it nice and active. Half moon to open up. The more you activate, nice, Allie. The more you activate, when you transition between those poses, then there's a sense of lightness to it, not extra work to lift the leg back up to the sky. Get light on your fingertips, whatever they're touching. One more breath. Feet to the mat. Standing bow or dancer's pose, right side. Soft crease of your elbow faces out for your standing bow. Strap or a band for the dancer's pose. Go for it. Build the breath right here. Let not only the sound, but the energy of big, full breath spill off the edges of your mat and into the space. One more inhale. Switch sides. Left side, standing bow or dancer. Eyes on one point. Then you can pause at any point as you create the pose to create the breath or refocus your gaze and then go a little bit further, no rush. Last breath. Switch. Right side, second set. If you want to switch the pose that you're doing, go ahead. If you want to take the same one again, that's good too. Standing bow or dancer. Soften the standing knee a little bit. So you can plug that standing big toe mound straight into the floor. Last breath. Switch. One more. It should feel like you have the tension, like you're pulling the string back on a bow. Your leg, your shin, pushing back is opening up space in your shoulder and creating tension across your arm to your wrist. Beautiful. One more breath. Feet to the floor. Tree pose, right side. You choose the arm variation. Whatever you want it to be is the right answer. The work is really not the holding the balance the entire time. It's the knowing that sometimes you have to step out and then that's not a big deal and you just take the pose again. That's when the ego's like, hey, I got to tell you something about your pose. That's not helpful. One more breath. Switch sides. Left side tree. Same arm variation or a different one. Always a practice. So you're just in discovery of what's happening moment by moment instead of comparing it to something else or someone else. It's just this one pose in this moment, and then it'll be gone in just a second. One more breath. Release both feet to the floor. Come up to the head of your mat if you're not there already. Extended mountain. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. Yeah, breath number 2. Exhale. Last one. Everything out. Right side triangle. Step your right foot between your hands. And the breath got quiet immediately after those sides. So bring the breath back into the space. You can have that block on the outside of your shin or have your front hand down on your front shin. Either one is great. Set your gaze up at the ceiling or up at your top fingertips. Now soften all of your toes. Even if they don't lift all the way off the mat, let them be light. See if you can get your big toe mounds down further into the mat now that your toes are soft. Press down and rise up. Side facing wide leg fold. Turn both feet to face the long edge of your mat and hinge forward. 2 options on this side. Work the fold or ninja lunges side to side. So you're taking the lunges, bend your right knee, sink into your right hip. Left knee over into the left hip. If you're working your fold, put your attention on the backs of your thighs, right where your hamstrings are between your knees and your sit bones, the bony points in your butt. Pull those 2 points apart. So the sit bones, tailbone, go up to the ceiling higher. Softness stays in the knees. Nice, Lauren. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a big bend in your knees, just a little bit so that the knees aren't locked out all the way. Another breath or 2 to get complete with wherever you're working. Then press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing forward fold or splits. If you're taking namaste fold, take a bind behind your back, either hand to elbow or reverse namaste. I feel like there's this love-hate relationship with the split. You're like, I've done all this work and I'm getting closer to not needing a block or getting closer down to the floor, whatever that ends up being. And then like, okay, let me take 20 minutes to get out of the pose so I can move on to the next one. In your pyramid pose, connect your back foot to the floor. That namaste fold, connect the back foot to the floor. Yes. Twisting triangle or twisting split. Gaze on one spot. Chest wide open. Pull your collarbones wider apart. Take one more breath together. High to low push-up. Upward facing dog when you get there. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. A full breath out. Left side triangle. Left foot between your hands. Grab the block or the water bottle and go from there. Big, full breaths. Where do you need to send either an inhale or an exhale to bring this pose to life even more? So I know a lot of the time for me, it's in my upper back. I need to expand it because I'm over-exaggerating the squeezing together of the shoulder blades. Let there be a little space there. Good. Adjustments. Soft toes. Yeah. Press into your feet. Rise up to stand. Side facing wide leg fold. This time with a bind. Either hands behind your back interlaced or a towel or strap between your hands. Hinge forward. Now, everybody soften your knees a little bit. And then do the one no one wants to do. Soften your elbows a little bit. I know. Yeah, just shy of locking out your elbows. That's where you want to be, because what happens is if you push your arms towards the floor and the elbows are locked out, you take almost the entire stretch out of your shoulders and your upper back. A little bit of bend. And your shoulders will start to open, that your arms can get closer to the floor while the elbows are slightly bent. It just takes a little time. Soft knees, soft elbows. Release your hands down, rise up to stand. Namaste front facing or splits. With both poses, square your hips to the front of the mat. It'll be the right hip that tries to sneak its way back. Pull it forward towards the front edge of your mat. The body's super smart in that way. It's like, hey, if you did it this way, it's a little less work. You should do it this way. Right, and keep square hips. Twisting triangle, twisting splits. Toes up to the ceiling in the front on those splits. Yes. One more big breath here. High to low push-up you go. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Clear it. Breathe in together. Breath out. Last one. All the way empty. Roll out to a high plank. Shoulders stacked on top of your wrists. So you can keep your knees up in the air or lower them to the mat. We're going to hold this plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way to the mat. When you get there, locust pose. Reach your hands back by your hips. Jeanette's up here doing push-ups while we're doing the plank hold. Yeah, okay. Rise up. Lift your chest and lift your feet. That's all right. That's all right. Press your toes past the back edge of your mat. Reach them back behind you. Yes, much more awake feet. One more breath here. Lower down. Rock your hips out left and right. Second set, locust pose. Hands can stay by your side or interlace them behind you. Rise up. Attention back on your feet for this one. I want you to turn your feet so your pinky toes come closer towards the floor. It's just a slight adjustment. Pinky toes closer to the floor so that if you were to tap your feet on the floor, all 5 toes would touch at the same time instead of the pinky toes being turned out. Yes, yeah, you're getting it. It's a minor adjustment. It'll open up your low back. One more breath. Lower down. Woo, side to side. Doing that work, folks. Floor bow number 1. Bend your knees and grab your ankles. Then march your thighs back together so your knees point straight behind you instead of out to the sides. Rise up. Knees straight behind you. Even if that means you're not kicking up as high, knees straight behind you so the pose stays long. One more breath. Lower down. Side to side. Second set. Switch legs if you took one or grab both legs again. Floor bow. Rise up. Some of you are coming up against the wall where your brain's like, I'm tired now. I don't want to. Yes, that's the space where your body's capable of more because the brain is now out of the way. The overthinking's out of the way. One more breath. Lower down. Side to side with the legs. Because you've been prepping this whole time to get to the back bends. Like your body's very ready to do these shapes. Upward facing dog. Rise up off the mat. Downward facing dog. Press back. Lower your knees for camel. One camel this afternoon. If you like a block between your thighs, go ahead and add that. Then hands start out on your low back. Lift up to the ceiling and start to make your way back. So hands could stay on your low back. If it feels like you've got space, you can bring your hands back to your heels. But the attention is on the low back. So if it feels pinchy or crowded, keep the hands on the low back so there's space. Yeah, good adjustments. Lots of space. Nice, Ashley. On your next inhale, rise up and out. Downward facing dog, reset. Eyes set to one spot if the camel pose is one of those poses where you get a little lightheaded or a little dizzy. Look between your hands, jump through to sit. Make your way to bridge pose. Down on your back. Feet on the floor. Press down and rise up. You got a big, powerful breath. Let's power through the rest of the back bends. You've got it. Heart up to the ceiling, feet into the mat. Big toe mounds into the mat. One more inhale here. Lower down. One breath in. Full breath out. Press, lift, go. Bridge number 2. Press down and rise up. You got it. Now bring your right knee into your chest. Press your right foot up to the sky. Press and lengthen that foot as high as it'll go. Knee in. Foot on the floor. Left knee into your chest. Left foot up to the sky. As you press that up, press down just as much with your opposite foot. Root it down into the mat. Knee in, foot on the floor, lower down. Knees side to side. All right, yogis, you are very ready. I am very sweaty. You are very sweaty. Wheel pose number 1. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders. Rise up. Up and away from the mat. Big toe mount straight down into the floor. Tuck your chin and lower. Breathe in together. Breath out. Number 2, press, lift, go. Feet right on 12 o'clock. Toes pointing straight ahead. Tuck your chin and come down. Full breath. Full exhale. Number 3, rise up. Halfway point, bridge or wheel, go. Big and expressive and open. Lower down. Full breath. Empty out. Number 4, rise up, bridge your wheel. You just keep taking a pose and recommitting to the thing. What becomes available when you keep recommitting? Lower down. Breath in. Breath out. Number 5, there's only 2 more. Rise up, bridge your wheel. Gaze set and breath set. Tuck your chin and lower. Breathe in. Clear it out. Last one, last bridge, last wheel. Go up, yogis, go up. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touch. Knees open wide. Let your body settle back on the mat. Whatever's coming up to the surface, the tingling, your heart beating, the blood pumping, all of that, let it come up to the surface. Happy baby or dead bug. A whole back of your pelvis, that bony plate at the base of your spine. Press that into the mat. Legs straight up in the air. Set up for scissor legs, either hands behind your head or hands underneath your hips. Lower your right leg halfway to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, switch the legs. Stay, full breath in. Exhale, switch. Full breath in and switch. Stick with the rhythm of that breath, that slow and methodical breath. Nice. Yeah, and you can sync up your breath with the person next to you, and then it creates a pulse and a rhythm in the room. Keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs up in the air. Hands can move to under your hips if you need more support for 30, 60 lifts. Lower both legs 30 degrees. Lower them 60. Lower to hover. Press through the soles of your feet. Legs back up in the air. More breath on this one. Breath in. Exhale 30. There you go. In. Exhale 60. Breath in. Exhale to hover. Press. Rise back up. One more set. One more set. Breathe in. Exhale 30. Breath in. Exhale 60. Breath in. Exhale to hover. Press. Legs up. Knees into your chest. Good stuff. Rock forward and back. Make your way up into boat pose. Boat pose is like every other pose. It takes a couple of breaths to get settled in the boat pose, even if it feels like, I'll just take 3 breaths here. I'm all set, thanks. Hang out on the boat. And then if you need to tap your feet on the ground and restabilize, just do that. And then bring the feet back up. Going to take 3 more breaths here in boat. You got this. Breathe in. Exhale, squeeze your front ribs into center. Good. Breathe in. Squeeze into center. Nice. Last one. Hug in. Downward facing dog. Make your way there. Down dog to right side half pigeon. So you can take the pose facing the floor or facing the ceiling, whichever one is the best fit for right now. If you're facing the floor, make a place for your forehead to rest, whether that's on your hands or on the mat. Maybe it's on a block. I'm a big fan of using the block in this pose so that my nose isn't smushed into the floor. And then you don't have to hold your head up. Steady breath, even longer inhales and longer exhales now. So it's a conscious choice to inhale so much that your diaphragm, that sheet of muscle under your lungs, pulls down into your abdomen. And then when you exhale, it pushes the lungs all the way up so all of the air gets out of your lungs. Steady on purpose choices. Few more breaths in your half pigeon. Keep building the breath. Double pigeon, stack shin up. Legs like fire logs. So you can put a block underneath a knee that's floating in space. You can have one leg out in front and cross the other one like a figure 4. Same stretch, just different orientation of your legs. And then you've got the choice to stay upright or to fold forward. Mark, you're so close. So close. Yeah. Getting there. I feel like double pigeon is a pose that just doesn't take any mercy. Like there's really no way to cheat or kind of get her. Like you're either doing the pose or you're not doing the pose. So it doesn't matter what variation you've chosen, you're doing the pose. Doesn't matter if your knee's in the air or if it's totally flat and touching your other foot, you're still doing the pose. Deep breaths to let the tissue around your hip, the outside of your hip, open up. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Love when I hear hip pops after that pose. That's how I know like that was the right amount of time. Left side half pigeon, left knee to left wrist, or the pose on your back on this side. And attention to detail about your breath. Notice if when you inhale, it's only your rib cage expanding and contracting, or is it your rib cage is expanding and also that sheet of muscle, that diaphragm, is descending into your torso? That belly breathing that we kind of learn not to do after being a kid because we're like, everyone has to have a flat stomach at all times, no matter what in America. Yeah. Breathe down into your stomach. And each time your attention travels away from the breath, no big deal. Like it gets distracted, it will, and then you come back. How much can you move your diaphragm with your inhales and exhales? It might almost feel like there's a pull there in the diaphragm, like that muscle's a little weak because you always use the rib cage to pull the lungs open and fill up. Double pigeon, opposite side. Always important to think of the other double pigeon with the opposite leg on top as a completely different pose, not a mirror of the one that you just did. Then there's no expectations around, well, I can get my leg lower on the other one, and like, don't worry about all that. Just take the shape of the pose. The goal is to feel a stretch in your hip. If that is happening, even if your knee is up higher than it was on the opposite side, then you're doing the work. Ankles flex, toes awake. Untangle your limbs. Seated single leg extension is next. Right leg straight out in front of you. Left heel in towards your right thigh. Fold over your leg. You can put a strap around the end of your foot or a block in front of your foot if you can fold pretty deep. So you're just customizing the pose to fit what you need in the moment. Switch sides, left leg out, right leg in. Hinge right at your hip, like you're trying to pull that thigh bone, your left thigh bone, further back into your hip. It's not going to physically go closer toward the hip socket, but that muscular action of squeezing the bones close together. Seated forward fold, both legs straight out. Melt forward. It's nice sometimes to stick a block or a water bottle underneath your knees so they're a little extra bent. You can just drape your torso over your legs. Yeah, getting away from the, if I bend my knees more, then that means the pose is less. No, you're just stretching something different. That's all. You're working more connective tissue and less muscle tissue in your back. Both are important. Take one more breath together here. Clear it out. Tabletop or reverse plank. Plant your palms behind your hips. Fingertips face the front edge of your mat. Hips up and away to the ceiling. So tabletops, bent knees with flat feet on the floor. Planks, long legs with toes pointing down towards the floor. Nice. Press the edges of your thumbs down into the mat to help lift your chest. Good. One more breath here. Lower down. Fish pose. You can stick a block between your shoulder blades or tuck your hands underneath your glutes. You'll only be in fish for a couple of breaths, so get yourself situated. Eyes stay open. See what there is to see. Let that space open up across your throat, across the front of your chest. One more breath together here. Deep inhale. Full exhale out. Make your way onto your back. Let's get upside down. Last upside down pose. Last opportunity. Waterfall and shoulder stand are always there. Headstand, handstands, that space is there. For a long time, I used to wonder why the inversions are towards the end of class. I'm like, but that's the fun stuff, the getting upside down stuff. I want to do that in the beginning. Yes, it is the fun stuff a lot of the time. And you have to clear a lot of things out of the way before you can get upside down and have that stable, conscious choice of where you're moving your body while you're upside down. Flexed ankles, toes awake. Yes, good adjustments. Headstands and handstands. You've got another breath or two to play around, then child's pose. If you're in shoulder stand, you can make your way to plow if you're not there already. Plow to deaf yogi. Bend your knees, hug them around the side of your head. Nice and slow. Lower your spine to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. See if you can get even your lowest vertebrae, the low part of your back, to touch. Nice control. Supine twist. Drop the knees to the right. Twist and look to the left. Let your shoulder blades melt down into the floor. Take a long breath in. Clear it out. Switch sides. Supine twist the opposite way. Deep breath in. Clear it out. Supta Baddha Konasana. One last time, bring the soles of your feet to touch. If you're in studio, you've already got a cold eye towel by the upper corner of your mat. Shavasana. Let your legs go out nice and long, arms down by your side. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill yourself up and up and up. Exhale it out. Let your entire body rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. And plant your feet on the floor and rock onto your right side. With your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. We'll finish up practice together with 3 final ohms. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thumb knuckles to forehead center. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to come into the studio, to sign in virtually, and make a sweaty good practice happen. Namaste. Good work, everybody. All right. If you borrowed straps or if you have the eye towels, put those in the hamper outside the studio. Any blocks that you borrow can just go over in the corner so I know which ones to spray off. And if you have any questions, I'll be floating around the studio. And so, Alice, you can ask her as well. Have an awesome rest of your weekend.